What's up guys, Heisendong here. For those who don't know me, I have been Challenger Heimerdinger enthusiasts for like 4 seasons now, probably longer than that. And everyone keeps asking about the rune pages. Everyone's like, Heisendong, what are the best rune pages? And people are like saying, hey, this rune page is the best, this, that. The answer is, guys, there is no best rune page. Your rune page really depends on the game and your enemy team comp, your team comp, stuff like that. So, but I made a rune page for you guys that I take like 80% of the time, maybe even 90% of the time. This is the juicy rune page. I'm going to explain a little bit why I take Comet instead of Airy. Comet is pretty much almost guaranteed to land as long as you hit a grenade. Even the slow portion of it, unless the champion has like mad move speed or a dash ability, your Comet's going to hit them still. I would take Airy if I'm going to abuse the fact that I'm going to auto attack them a lot in the laning phase, then you could totally take Airy. But Comet just pumps out a little bit more DPS. The reason why Comet's so good is because each one of your missiles and your turret lasers count as an AoE ability. So Comet will be reduced by 10% for each missile that you hit and for each laser that you hit. And also, this works for your ultimate, so when you have Alt W, your Comet's pretty much immediately off cooldown. I'm just going to show it with the regular W now. Watch the cooldown on Comet. Immediately 50%. Just as it comes out, it's like 50% because each one of the missiles reduces it. The other really cool thing is this works on your ulti. Your ult turret alone can proc Comet twice. This procs, and each one's reducing 10%, 10%, and it'll proc it again. That's how good Comet is on Heimer. The other thing is, if you ever have Rylai's or use your grenade to slow or stun, or use your ult turret, it pretty much should slow them enough for the Comet to land, guaranteed. A full combo would be something like that, actually procs Comet twice. And something I want to mention before I go into all these runes is that games are ending a lot faster, and games are a lot more snowbally right now. So, generally, I want to stay away from any runes that scale, that take, 10 minutes to get something from, or level 10, like Transcendence, Ultimate Hat, for example. I don't take Ultimate Hat very often because, one, the CDR isn't additive. So if you have 45% CDR from your item build, and you take Ultimate Hat, your ultimate isn't going to be on a 60% cooldown, or CDR cooldown reduction. It's something like 7% more cooldown reduction, some shit like that. Basically, end game, your ultimate should be on a 38-second cooldown. With Ultimate Hat fully stacked, it's on a 32-second cooldown. So it's not that crazy, and it doesn't give you anything during the laning phase, so I would stay away from it generally. I would either take Mana Flow Bands or Nullifying Orb if you're against 2 or 3 magic damage dealers, or you just need the defense in general. So, Mana Flow Bands is the most generic, best in almost every situation rune in that row. And for this one, Celerity is so much better, and it's OP as fuck. It's probably getting nerfed next patch. In fact, I think on PBE, the move speed is already getting reduced. Celerity is just immediately 3 move speed quints, or like the old quints system, so it's just insane value immediately. Plus you get move speed around your turrets, so that's extra damage. You can also pair this up with approach velocity from Inspiration to get even more move speed. Generally it's really good, but I'm taking absolute focus because on Heimerdinger you are long range, you don't really get hit very often. You're probably going to be full health when you throw your burst combo out. And on top of that, we pair absolute focus with Taste of Blood for healing and for just staying topped off in lane. And then Ravenous Hunter is insanely good because your turrets heal you as based on, like, as if they're a single target spell. So you're getting the full healing from every single one of your turret auto attacks, and they do a lot of damage when you have bonus AP, which you're getting from Absolute Focus, and then this also keeps you 70% HP or higher during the laning phase, which, makes Absolute Focus stay on the whole time. Really good fucking combo, these 3. You could change Taste of Blood to Eyeball Collection, that's totally fine if you want that little extra bit of AP, but personally I just like having, being full HP the whole time. It makes it so when you get ganked, it's very easily turnable. You can often flash away and survive and kill someone. You can tower dive, and you could just take tower shots in general and just heal it back up. I actually feel so powerful with these two runes. Taste of Blood usually heals me for like 1,000 to 2,000 HP a game. And Ravenous Hunter, it doesn't really say how much it heals you, but the end of game screenshots, I always look at total healing done. And when I only have Ravenous Hunter, I heal about 10,000 HP a game. Thing is, that stat also, you know, takes into account potions, HP regen, I think, stuff like that. But when I don't have Ravenous Hunter, I heal about 2,000, 3,000 a game. So you can kind of deduce that Ravenous Hunter heals me about 5 to 7,000 HP a game. I can just look at this in the laning phase and see my HP bar go up, like 3 to 4 HP every single time my turret hits something, which fucking adds up. Like, this is insanely strong for Heimerdinger. And you could just put a turret in the jungle, or just put a turret, like, fighting the crab or some shit, and then it's just constantly giving you healing. This is really, really good on Heimerdinger. A lot of people will be like, but what about getting the free Zanyas from Inspiration or Precision? Precision actually has some really juicy things for Heimerdinger, but this combo just feels incredibly oppressive. Really good in the early game, really good in the late game, and it just works really well with Absolute Focus. Alright, well, that's like the overall I would take this rune page most of the time kind of deal, and if this is what you were looking for, I hope that you enjoy playing Heimerdinger with this setup. I am going to go more in depth. There's a lot more viable options. Inspiration has a lot of cool things. Precision could be used as a secondary. Now, let's actually go into it and just show you guys what I'm talking about here. Inspiration has really cool keystones, and they're fucking good. Like, Unsealed Spellbook has really cool niche use that I think are actually going to see some play in competitive. Not just on Heimerdinger, just in general. It's a really fucking cool keystone. Glacial Augment, honestly, I was super hyped for this one at the very beginning when runes came. I was like, wow, this is going to be like the go-to for Heimerdinger. You auto-attack them, they're slowed, you get a free grenade, perfect. But the more I try this out, and the more I do GLP with it, because GLP is an item which shoots out the freezing ray, and you think it'd be fucking amazing. But the thing is, GLP already has infinite AoE. It goes through everything, it pierces whatever you hit. So what the fuck is the point of putting the freeze ray thing on the ground? I mean, unless someone is coming into the area after you used it, but then you're missing out on the damage of the GLP. It just felt super counterintuitive, and it felt like I was lacking damage. Especially with the fact that it forced me to go GLP. I think GLP is really bad with Glacial Augment, but I think that Frost Queen with Glacial Augment is actually a very viable build, because Frost Queen is a single target slow, which then applies the freeze ray, which then slows everyone else. So when you're initiating in a team fight, you hit the front line, it might splash to the back line. The other thing that's really good about Inspiration Tree in general is that once you pair it up with Domination or Sorcery, you get 27 AP and 20% potion elixir duration. That is nuts. It sucks that you're not getting many stats. You're going to probably do something like that. Approach velocity is just too good with Glacial Augment, because you use it, you get to move up to them a lot faster and then use the grenade. Probably get the stun off. It'll be really hard to miss the grenade with how much move speed you have. And then you could pair this up with Celerity, so you get more damage from the move speed you're getting from when you auto attack, and probably do something like either Scorch or Mana Flow Bands. One of these two with Celerity would be a good Glacial Augment setup. The other thing is, you could do Cheap Shot, so that when you auto-attack them, you slow them, you get the bonus damage. Most of the time when I do Cheap Shot, though, I'm doing more damage with Scorch. Like, Scorch in general just does more damage than Cheap Shots, even though Cheap Shot is true damage and is theoretically better against high MR targets, but like in most games it doesn't do nearly enough damage to justify taking it. I've even rushed Rylai's so that people are permanently slowed. I'm proccing this every 4 seconds. It's just underwhelming in general. I do think that Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collection, and Ravenous Hunter are the go-to in Domination for Heimerdinger. You could make a case though, if you are taking Perfect Timing and you really need the Zanya's cooldown, you could take Ingenious Hunter, and then you get like 60% with Cosmic Insight, but then there's no point going Glacial Augment with that setup. You might as well do something like Kleptomancy. You're probably going to be against like Zed, Katarina, Fiora, anyone who you really need Zhonya's against anyway, if you're going to do this setup, you go Kleptomancy, Perfect Timing, Magical Footwear, and then the more CDR, and then do something like Zombie Ward, Ingenious Hunter. This is probably the rune page I would do on support Heimerdinger. There's also one other support Heimerdinger build that I want to show you guys after this. Kleptomancy with Zombie Ward is insane. You get green wards, you get pink wards, which helps you clear their wards, which helps you proc more zombie wards. You get Ingenious Hunter, which fuels in with Cosmic Insight, which gives you item cooldown reduction, which means you have more trinkets. You get more Sweeper, which then gives you more zombie wards. This combo is just very, very good for vision control, and when you're ahead, it feels very oppressive. The thing is, Kleptomancy kind of helps you get ahead. It's a little bit RNG based, but if you ever get a Sorcery, Elixir, or an adaptive potion, you are going to be shitting on people with how much AP you're getting. The other really good thing about this rune page is that you get 20% potion and elixir duration, and 27 AP, like a lot of fucking stats, and this just kind of helps you win early game. So that's one other setup. There are a few juicy speed setups with Phase Rush that you can do. So it's the same thing as the other celerity setups, but you get Phase Rush instead. This is the rune page that I would go against someone who I really need to kite. Like, it is mandatory that you need to kite this champion. Tryndamere, maybe Aatrox, Nasus. I used to do Phase Rush against old Storm Raiders against Nasus because he would wither you, you would get the slow resistance, and then he'd be useless. But this no longer gives you slow resistance, so I'm going to need to do a little bit more testing. But theoretically, just from the bonus move speed you get from Phase Rush, which feeds into the celerity damage, it's like enough to make it worth it. Approach Velocity gives you more move speed, which gives you more damage again. And you would want to go Mana Flow Bands because it would let you rush Rylai's, which then permanently procs Approach Velocity. And you could go Zhonya's after that since you already have Perfect Timing. Mana Flow Bands is just fucking amazing for letting you build whatever item you want first. Because without Mana Flow Bands, you're pretty much forced to build Morello. And if you're not gonna go Sorcery, you're not gonna get Mana Flow Bands, you need to build Morello still, right? That hasn't changed. But this is just super, super, super good for being flexible. And then again, I think Scorch is just way better than Gathering Storm in every way, unless you are literally not trying to do damage in the laning phase and you're just trying to farm up to the late game. So this would be like a pretty good speed rune page with Rylai's Rush. It's just an option. It's there for you if you ever really want it. And then, oh yeah, this is the really, really important rune page. I've been doing this and I've been having a lot of success with Electrocute, but only against squishy melee champions. So the Zeds, the Katarinas, Aurelia, Jarvan, pretty much anything that you are going to be hitting with your turrets and purchasing a Zhonya's at the same time. This is super fucking oppressive. I have a few videos that I'm going to be releasing with Electrocute soon. Anyway, the whole combo goes like Electrocute, Taste of Blood, Ravenous Hunter is just very oppressive for the laning phase. It lets you auto attack the opponent and take creep aggro and still heal from this combo. You could take Cheap Shot, but I don't think it's that good. I end up healing about double the damage that I do with Cheap Shot, and some could argue that the extra damage is just better. The extra damage is just better than the healing. If you have Ravenous Hunter, that's enough healing, and that's fine. You should take Cheap Shot if you really want that extra damage. But I do think that Taste of Blood lets you play more aggressive. It lets you take turret shots or creep aggro or bad trades and then just heal it back up. In this setup, I would rather take Eyeball Collection than Zombie Ward, even though Zombie Ward is pretty fucking good if you're a top laner. It lets you, if you're afraid of junglers ganking you, take Zombie Ward. If you have Kleptomancy, take Zombie Ward. If you're a support, take Zombie Ward. Other than that, take Eyeball Collection. That's my take on it. The extra AP feeds into your turrets, because the turrets have the highest AP ratio, or DPS ratio, on Heimerdinger. They have a 0.3 AP ratio per auto attack. That is fucking nuts. And since your turrets heal you based on single target spell healing, so the full healing from Ravenous Hunter, you need as much AP as possible. That's just my take on it. I think Eyeball Collection is very, very good. It's also getting nerfed on PvE. It's going to get 5 AP when you complete it instead of 10 AP, which is still 25 AP. But right now it's giving 30 AP when it's totally maxed out, so it's still very fucking good. I would still take Eyeball Collection even if they nerfed it. Perfect Timing, if you need the Zhonya's, and Cosmic Insight, 20% reduced Zhonya's cooldown, and 5% max. You're probably going to be getting a Morello into Zhonya's if you're against, you know, the champions that I talked about earlier anyway. The other setup you could do is Sorcery. You could grab Mana Flow Bands and then something like Absolute Focus. The reason you do Absolute Focus, like I said before, is Taste of Blood, Ravenous Hunter, feed into it. You're very likely to be at high HP during the laning phase. And Mana Flow Bands just helps you stay in lane the whole fucking time. Like, you never have to go back. It's so fucking oppressive. And I have been thinking about going Ignite or Exhaust instead of TP, because I'm very rarely having to TP back to lane anyway. I usually just control the wave and go back when I'm gonna miss very few minions, usually on a cannon minion wave anyway. And you kind of just control the whole laning phase with this setup. Although I do think that the Inspirations free Zhonya's is also really, really good if you need it. So if you're against Zed, you know, you're probably gonna just take Perfect Timing and Cosmic Insight, because his ultimate is going to be up faster than your Zhonya's cooldown if you don't take these things. And it might be still kind of close, but at least you're bridging the gap, so you'll have your Zhonya's up more often. The other thing you could do, if you don't want to do the lane bully, just get a lot of mana and damage from Absolute Focus and Eyeball Collection, the AP that you're getting is really important. But if you don't want to do that, you could totally take Presence of Mind or Triumph. Both of these are really good on Heimerdinger, and pair that with Coup de Grace. I think that's how you pronounce it in French. I don't actually know my French, so I might be mispronouncing it, but this is really, really good because it gives you 15 AP and just 10% more damage people with low health. You are a burst mage. This is like one of the best keystones for damage that you can have. Presence of Mind is also just really, really good. You can level up in the middle of a creep wave and just pump out all of your spells. Throw everything. Throw a grenade, throw a turret, throw your missiles, and none of it really gets lowers your mana, because you get a free restoration on all your spells for 5 seconds. This is getting buffed on PvE. I think it's going from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. It might be a good option. Triumph is also really good for just 2v1s, tower dives, team fights in general. Once you're hitting a lot of people, you're going to get a lot of Triumph takedowns. This is also a pretty fucking good setup in general. Other than that, I think I went through all the things that I have tested. Oh yes, right, the Dr.Donger build. How could I forget? Dr.Donger. So, you guys know, if you've been watching my stream, that I used to play support Heimer with Stoneborn Pact, and I would rush Ardent Censer, so that my slows from Grenade and Ult Turret and Rylai's would proc Stoneborn, so when people hit the people that I've Stoneborned, they would get Ardent Censer and, you know, Chalice and what other support items that I had, right? So that combo was kind of complicated, but it did work back in the day. Now, though, they have added Stoneborn as a resolve tree rune. Font of Life here, this is pretty much the old Stoneborn. Impairing the movement of an enemy champion marks them for 4 seconds, so whenever you stun or slow with Grenade, or you ult turret, or you ult Grenade, or you have Rylai's, or Frost Queen, or GLP, or whatever fucking, you guys get the point, you will apply Font of Life. When your ally hits the target with Font of Life on it, he then heals, proccing Ardent Censer, proccing Athene's Unholy Grail. It's just really, really good synergy. And then you would take Revitalize to make your heals and shields stronger. Since you're going to have a lot of healing and shielding support items, you want to take Nullifying Orb. Summon Area, of course, because that'll also shield your targets when they hit an enemy that's affected by Font of Life. Transcendence is pretty good in this combo because you're overcapping your CDR with the support items, so you're getting a lot of AP from Athene's, which gives you AP based on your mana regen, and then Transcendence, which gives you AP based on your overcapped CDR. I went into a custom and I built fucking Redemption, Athene's, Ardent Censer, Rylai's, and then Death Cap, and I had like 500 something AP with 3 support items. I had a lot of, I pretty much had as much AP as I would have had with a regular Heimer build, except I have fucking Redemption and Athene's and like really, really important team fight items. So this honestly could be a very, very meta build. I have to test it out some more, but I'm just giving you guys the information that this works and that you can kind of do this on stuff like Karma, on, I'm pretty sure it would be really, really strong on other champions that would actually abuse the AP. But Heimerdinger works, definitely. Definitely is a very good build to run if your team is full attack based, like on hit based stuff. So if you have like a Kale top, an AD carry mid laner, a jungler that uses their auto attacks, I would definitely do this because you're going to be giving them You're going to be giving them Ardent Sensor, you're going to be healing them. And yeah, I would also do something like this if you really need the Nullifying Orb, because you're going to have a lot of shield bonus. It's going to make this shield you for like 250, 260 late game, because it also has an AP ratio. That gets boosted by the shield bonus. Anyway, it's just there. It's an option. I'm just throwing it out there because it's really interesting to me. And it's different. It's new. It's like something that people don't expect. I think I went through everything. I will be updating this video as I test more. I'll add like a link to the description if I ever add a new video. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the new runes on Heimer, what you guys think about, you know, anything I said. If I might be wrong on something I said, you guys could have a discussion in the comments below. Anyway, thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoy the information, and yeah, have a good day. Peace.